To God be the glory and good evening to everyone viewing this video. The purpose of this video tonight is to basically protect my reputation and not leave it to chance or gossip. A couple days ago, or maybe a week ago now, press release was sent out by the Minister of Education, and no, my name was not mentioned, but I am the person that have been dealing with the situations as it pertains to the school bus operators as well as the public school teachers. And I just thought it was necessary to make it really clear and tell the truth as to what has happened, because it has now shined a very negative light on me, whereas I tried my utmost to just leave this thing die of a natural death and let's move forward, because the goal was making sure that our kids would be provided with the proper education, or within the proper educational system, as smooth as possible. And that was the goal. I never questioned the competency of the minister. I've never ever said that her love or care for education and students is limited or does not exist. Never. As a matter of fact, when I've had to say to the minister in the past, years ago, now, whenever, good job, I say good job. I give Jack his jacket when necessary. But we are at a stage now where politics is really, really getting ugly, or maybe it was always ugly, and I am now coming into the part where I either need to get just as ugly, or we are going to be honest and tell the truth. The truth of the matter is and we're going to start with the school teacher situation, because it's two areas was highlighted by her person in her press releases where I am concerned. As far as the teacher situation go, and however we got there, the truth to that matter is the minister and I made an agreement by proxy, I should say, to work together behind the scenes, unbeknownst to any of our parties, and basically in the interest of making sure that our teachers work in a secure, safe, work-friendly environment where they would be, again, motivated and encouraged to go out there and give to our students the best that there is to give. The minister, once I agreed to help the teachers, it was under the conditions that the minister worked with me behind the scenes, and this was completely partisan. It had absolutely nothing to do with politics. It had absolutely nothing to do with anyone else other than making sure the teachers were in a good environment, and by extension, the students would be the best beneficiaries of this effort. Once agreed, I said to two individuals, one that works part-time with the minister, and as a matter of fact, it was more of them, but those two are the two who went to the minister. After having a meeting with them, they went to the minister, met with her. I can't say whether it was at her office or not, but I think so. And what they met with her for was because once she agreed that we would work behind the scenes, we made up action plan as to what steps we're going to take, down to the color black that they were going to wear, when that color was going to change to another color, when the time would come that they would either go to parliament or sit out the classrooms, making sure that sixth graders would not be affected by this, because if a sit out had come about, it would have been minus the sixth graders, because we know that they had exams. All of these things were taken into consideration, and once the action plan was sent to the minister, because the minister was leaving the island, so we strategically did this while she was away. So we would have all this confusion happen while she's gone, and a petition would be made, and a letter would be sent to Parliament. I had I had parliamentarians on standby to sign, give me my 2 extra signatures, so that we can call this meeting, this emergency meeting, where the teachers would come behind closed doors and explain their part, so that by the time the minister comes back, we have a situation, a case, and then basically Parliament turns it right back over in an instruction form to the minister to basically deal with this situation. And no one would have known that either her or I would have had anything to do with it. And let me tell you something. This has absolutely nothing to do with me right now trying to make her look bad or getting back at her for the press release that she sent out on me. This is me not being able to tolerate people shedding negative light on sincere and good intentions because of individuals who choose to make it, who made it political, and this not being the Minister of Education. What happened in that process there is, for lack of a better term, the minister get pressure and she pulled the rug from under me. And I say from under me, basically, abort mission, and did not even inform me that that the mission was aborted, that we were no longer going forward, that she was going to go to the media before we finish our steps. That was a slip of the tongue during one of the last meetings. So when the minister said that when situation happens, she don't run to the public, to the newspaper, she called a meeting. She called a meeting that I ended in my living room. Easter Monday, when everybody out with their family on the beach, I sitting in my living room with a bunch of Silveria supporting teachers, basically trying to work out a way, finalize our plans to get us in the parliament so that we can get the teachers what they want, so they can provide to our students what they need. Okay, so the little meeting that was called after I became emotional at home when I realized that I said, listen guys, we have to finish this up today. I have to send it in because I need to by tomorrow morning, which is Tuesday, I need that our Khifir gets this request and books it in one time, because the press release will go out one time. And one individual said, no, we're not going to have a press release for tomorrow because the minister has a press release for tomorrow. At that moment, I said, if the minister has a press release for tomorrow, that means our mission or our goal has changed. Who changed it and how come I don't know about it? Yeah, well, over the weekend apparently, because after that newspaper article, you see, what people don't realize is that meeting was called for the teachers who did not have the opportunity to be a part of any of our former meetings. That meeting was called so that we could speak to as many teachers as possible, because the next step was Parliament. And we could not go to Parliament not having given all the teachers the opportunity to express themselves and be a part of the meeting. There were teachers who signed that petition that did not come to not one meeting. But what happened is, the night before, the Tuesday night, there's a radio program that a member of Parliament is very active on. And a teacher called me and said, hey, go listen to the radio. He's on now, and listen to the topic they're talking about. The topic they were talking about was people standing together. People standing together for positive things and standing up for not just money and not just, material, but to stand for things positive. And when I listened in, I realized, you know what, this is a perfect opportunity indeed for us to get the other teachers to listen in and get them to the meeting. So I Tamara, Leonard, sent him a text and say, hey, highlight the fact that teachers wore black. That's what happened. I am the one who sent it to him. I sent him a message. I say, highlight the fact that the teachers wore black. And then I will explain you later. He did exactly that. He said, there's something, he was brought to his attention, the teachers wore black. His co-host basically said, yeah, well, it's Lent. He said, well, Lent have to do with black. The co-host then said, what does Easter bunnies have to do with Easter? At that point, I said, okay, enough. These two done taking this the wrong direction. I went back into a chat group that was established between me and the teachers, well, what we considered or what we refer to as the core group. And I said, okay, listen, you get somebody to call in and basically admit, yes, there's a meeting tomorrow at 10 a.m. for for all teachers, and that they should come, all public school teachers. And that would have been on, that was actually a holiday that they were coming to this meeting. And they called in. He said they spoke about it a bit. Yes, there's something that the teachers are dealing with. And then I can't remember whether the teacher invited him as well, or he said, well, he is coming. And he said he didn't care what the situation was. He wants, he's with his teachers. Okay, and that's it. The next morning, it was time for the meeting. I met with a core group again. We literally practiced what I had to say, because we practiced because I had to make sure that we protected the minister. That's the word I kept using throughout. I said we have to make sure, protect the minister, because it's not supposed to be known, not by my team for sure, and not by hers, that we're doing this together so that we can get to the goal that we need. You understand? People say, Martin, say you want us politicians to stop acting like politicians or stop playing politics. Well, this was two people coming from complete opposites, coming together to work on something that was going to be beneficial to our youth. You understand? And the quality of education that they get and the working environment that our teachers are in. That's what was happening. But had we dare brought that forward, that in itself would have gotten shut down by the same naysayers who want you to work together. But when you do stuff together, then they make a big thing of it. Okay, so I needed to be clear, because I am not here bringing down the minister. I wanted to be clear that you have people with good intent, because this, the way our system set up, whether you want to admit it or not, we cannot get progress with the amount of politics that is being played by the veterans. That's how I refer to them. Okay, so all in all, and what's happening now, and the reason, again, I bring this video is because now I'm in a situation where, listen, my team found out that I'm working, they are now finding out that I was working together with the minister behind the scenes to get a certain, to a certain goal. This had nothing to do with Tamara Leonard causing any discord with no teachers and no management. The discord that has been there for decades, for how much ever long years that has been, there was discord, it's been there. Tamara didn't cause that. And I didn't run to the papers with no story as it pertained to the teachers. We invited the press to the meeting where we was giving information to the teachers. What happened with the results of that meeting is you had two different journalists showed up to that meeting and two completely different stories. And I'm going to call Island Times was one of them that was there, and the journalists both recorded everything that was said. And when you go to islandtimes.com, I can't remember it right at this point, and you read what he said happened in that meeting and listen to the recording versus the article that was written in the other newspaper by the journalists that came and take notes. Let me tell you something, two completely different ones. As a matter of fact, in the article of the newspaper, there was a whole paragraph about a member of parliament who not once came to any meeting, not once had any conversation with any teacher that was a part of that situation. So, as a matter of fact, that morning when we called the meeting, it slipped me that I had a parliament meeting. And he stood up in the parliament and said that there's two meetings going on today and that members of parliament need to realize their priorities because I was in another meeting. Okay, and this very member of parliament goes to the newspaper, at least goes to that journalist, I'm assuming, and basically give a whole paragraph of what he knows from what he doesn't know going on. And that was untrue. That was untrue. I can't keep up with the lies. That was not true. He was never nowhere. The teachers were all, I got so many inbox messages that everybody was like, T, what is going on? What is going on? What is he talking about? He was never there. Why does that newspaper make this thing look like we was on some witch hunt and this was all about Ms. Davis? It was not. That was absolutely not the case. And the minister noticed too. But what ended up happening was the day at that meeting, when the members of parliament came to that meeting, some popped in just to show support and some stayed, at least one stayed. And I gave him the opportunity to speak because this was nothing political for us. This was about the teachers. At least it wasn't for me. Okay? And he said, no, everything was fine in my face. He did not take the mic. He did not speak. He was like, no, you're good. Okay? And then as I left, I got a message saying, hey, listen, things gone a different direction here since you're gone. Because now somebody's here saying, Tamara should not be the face of this. This should be the minister. You see what happened? They don't know that the minister too was basically, we were a team without they knowing. And that's why we didn't need them to know. You understand? And this is a perfect example of why you can't have, everything can't be political. Because from the minute between he and the Superman from the newspaper who wanted himself to seem like he coming in to save the day that had absolutely nothing to do with it, the minute they too became aware of what was going on and they involved themselves, what ended up happening was we missed the target. We missed the target. And the minister, the most I can say is that pressure the bus fight, at some point, the minister decided that she's pulling the plug because things had gotten out of control, and those that were closest with her, it became such a sad, ugly story, something that was started with such purity, something that was started to help, something that was started to have an end goal of something that we could at least say, you see, when you work together behind the scenes and don't make it political and don't have to be a whole public thing, look, we can get to a goal. Nobody didn't say, fire this lady, Miss Davis. Nobody didn't say, get rid of her. All kind of different scenarios was put forward. And we agreed that whatever was going to happen with that part of the problem, because there were other issues, there were other things. It was not just Miss Davis as the paper printed it based on what that journalist wrote. Okay, it was not about that. Everything else was completely like casted aside, and he found a target that was going to bring news, and he focused on that. But when you look at the character of that journalist, we all know exactly how he thinks, how he functions. I mean, his reputation precedes him. So I don't even have to touch him. I don't even have to worry about that part. But what I really wanted to deal with today was for us to now put this completely to rest. Because that day when I sent the action plan with those two teachers to speak to the minister to get her approval for us to move forward, which she basically made one change and approved and sent back. I met those two ladies by Mark's place, and we finalized, and we started executing from there. To claim that I am playing political games to cause discord among teachers, which ultimately leads to, you know, a lot of negativity, and who suffers most from this is going to be our students. I could no longer just sit and leave that be. The minister knew. The minister was working with me. We were working together for a goal. Okay. I cried. Because by the time I figured out that this thing went south without me, then I realized that nobody had my back. And by the time my party or my team figured out that I am working together with this lady, and for me it had nothing to do with politics, I could care less who voted or who didn't vote for me at the time. Those stories that those teachers was telling me, I mean, heartbreaking situations between abuse, between literally stopping certain programs that were beneficial to our students working, between managers just taking advantage of their power as leaders, between labor, I mean, straight up things that are completely against the labor law that is being executed within the atmosphere of the public schools. That's a problem for me. I had an issue with it, and that's why I eventually agreed. Those scary stories, I mean, are we going to start with that, and it can extend straight across the board to other departments, such like court or guardianship and the child care, foster home. I mean, abuse on all kind of levels within the school, within the foster homes. These stories. How could you not want to work with somebody, regardless of what the situation is or whatever political team we on, to fix a situation like that? How we could just sit down and leave it? How do we just sit down and leave it? And as for me, being political and wanting to railroad or do whatever negative to that minister, let me tell you something. You see the OEM, EOM, Education on the Move? I knew about it for like the last 2 months before it came out, because the team building effort that I was asked to do was going to happen on the 20th and the 21st of April, and the Education on the Move launched on the 15th of April. So guess what? Even that I had endorsed. I love the idea. If I wanted to be political and nasty, I could have come up with my own, drop everything and read, because that I knew too. But that's not what it was about. For me, it was not about that. It will never be about that. And let me tell you something, as a matter of fact, and I'm going to take some more blows for this. But if it ever happens again that I need to work behind the scenes with anybody in benefit of these people or the people of this country, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So the best thing I could do, if you don't want somebody who is not interested in the political aspect of everything outside of campaign time, don't vote for me. Don't vote for me. If you don't want somebody who's going to sincerely work towards getting to a solution, because that's what I was interested in, do not vote for me. Then I continue to vote for who I just vote for and continue to leave it, have all this bunch of confusion and continue to make people enemies. Go ahead and do that. But you can't tell me that because two people decide to work behind the scenes together, you understand, and leave colleagues, you understand, leave colleagues, Mr. Maurice Lake, you understand, I can't take it no more, and I ain't gonna choke myself with the truth, and I ain't crying no more. Yes, I'm sensitive and I just cry a lot. I don't care. Do not vote for me if I have to turn into a liar, if my success is going to be at the mercies of somebody else's happiness, growth, or anything. I ain't playing no more. Give me back my marbles, I'm going home. That's what I signed up for. I know there's going to be pressure, and yeah, I too know what I signed up for. I know I signed up for, and it has hurt a lot, I ain't gonna lie. And it's costing me money, and it's cost my dad 3/3 of his company, but a hair. And I'm gonna go again. If up don't kick me off now, let the truth is out. And I doubt it. But I'm gonna tell you what. Do not lie on Tamara, Leonard, because I don't have a problem with my past. I don't have a problem with my flaws. I am happy to tell you all the negatives about me that hopefully somebody can learn something and not make the same mistakes that I did. I don't profess to be no angel. There's no halo over this head, and you will never find wings on this back. What I say I am going to do, I do. And what I don't want to do, nobody can make me do. It don't work like that. I get enough licks. It don't work like that. And so I'm going to end now because I'm becoming emotional, and I took a whole week to respond to this because I didn't want to be emotional. I didn't want to be upset. I don't want to say hurtful things, and believe you me, I could say hurtful things. I have every chat conversation between everyone that have anything surrounded this whole public school teacher situation. These people asked, all I wanted to do was CrossFit and a little makeup. I mean, team building, what I do outside of politics, that's what I do. How we can get people to work together and appreciate the time together when they have to work and zone everything else out. That was my goal, not to go at anybody else's job. As a matter of fact, for the record, I sent Ms. Gwendolyn Davis a message in the DM. I sent her a direct message, and I basically said to her, I need to speak to you. You understand? I need to speak to you because I couldn't just go with the stories from what I was hearing. I couldn't just go with the teacher's stories. I needed to hear from this lady too. I was fair. The lady read my message and she never answered. And this was way before any of this went south. When I couldn't get to her, I went to somebody else. I was in the same position in the past. I went to other people. I went to other ministers. I did my due diligence. I didn't just up one day and decide, well, this is an opportunity for me to get at Silveria. No, that's not what happened. I took that serious. I had them teachers back. And them suckers, let me tell you something. Everybody's sitting and listening and watching this go on, and nobody's stepping up. Nobody's saying, hey, we begged Tamara to do it. Nobody's saying, hey, Tamara, say, That's not what I signed up for, because that's what I told them teachers. When they brought this story to me, I said, hey, I didn't sign up for all of that. That's what I come here for. It's some CrossFit I was going to give all you. I reserved every sport facility on this island. You could go ahead and ask Miss Jackie Richardson. And this was way before any of this confusion. I set it up. I set up my whole plan. You understand? I called in the lady. I said, this is my plan, and this is why I'm not going to do it school by school. This aspect of it, we're going to do all the schools together. It was all from a sincere place. And the bad part about it, this is my business. This is what I do in the private sector, and I make money for it. Not a quarter was charging them. You understand? Because I actually thought that this was something nice to do. That this was something that's going to be good and that's going to benefit our teachers, the educational system, and most importantly, our students. Tell me, why is it that 11 students were recognized for passing highest in the country from an elementary school and not one was from a public school? Nothing wrong with your system. Tamara causing discord between your teachers. Nothing wrong with the system. Something is very wrong with the system, and something is very wrong with everyone who continues to pump negative energy into this situation. And as for the school bus operators, I guess by now, I'm known to be the radical. I'm known to be the one who dipping in people's business, who don't know the protocol and how you go about calling a meeting in Parliament. I know my role as a parliamentarian, and I know how meetings are called. I know not to mess with the execution aspect. But you got human beings coming to you, people coming to you and talking to you, people that supported me, saying, T, we need your help. This is the situation. You understand? The lady, two of the school bus drivers said to me, listen, the minister tell us today, the minister and the prime minister tell us today that they don't know nothing about new bidders coming in. That's why I got up in the parliament and spoke about it at a meeting that had nothing to do with it. I just needed to get the attention of the minister publicly because they went to a meeting that afternoon, the school bus operators with the Prime Minister and the Minister of Education, and basically were told the same thing. After that meeting, people called me crying. That's why the following day I stood up and said that. And what happened? What ended up happening? It was pulled back. I don't care who started. I don't care what government was handling it. It don't matter to me. The bottom line is, attention is being paid to it now. It pulled back, and however they're working it out, I am more than sure that it's going to be worked out now in the interest of those people that has been doing this for years, instead of just pulling the rug from under they as well in a matter of 3 months. And let me tell you now, nothing I say in here is lies, and nothing I say in here can be backed up, because I have proof of everything I am saying. Everything. And I will go back on the education on the move, something that I thought was very positive, that I knew of. When it was shared to the schools, I had teachers, different teachers from different schools calling me and saying, look, the newspaper saying that we have to drop everything and read for 10 minutes. And in the book, whatever book, a pamphlet, or whatever the schools got, because I ain't never seen one, in that, it states that they need to drop everything for 20 or 30 minutes, like double or more of what was written in the newspaper. And what I said, hey, leave it alone. There has to be something positive. Contact your manager, or you call a meeting, or you be properly informed about it. If a meeting wasn't called, that's the position I'm coming from. I ain't here to cause no trouble with nobody. When I'm ready to be a minister, I need to remember I'm sitting there, and whatever I do here is what's going to happen to me over there. So I don't do wicked. Don't lie on Tamara. That's the last thing you could do. Tamara is very good at talking the truth about Tamara. And I have no problems with it, because everything happens for a reason. Every single one of us has fallen short of the glory of God. I am better than you, and you are better than me. But if you're going to talk a story on me, tell the truth, because that's what I'm about. And being re-elected is not the only thing that can happen to me. If people want me there, dealing with situations in this man, because this is the man I'm going to be working from. You understand? I have been working from for the short time that I was able to work. Maybe I ain't get to change no law, but God knows I tried. You understand? And I will continue to try. And I ain't making nobody no false promises. And I ain't outpaying everybody bills and all those foolishness. I ain't doing it. And if that's what you need, then don't vote for me. Vote for me if you want what I have been producing. What can't get done inside the parliament, I do outside. I support every single thing that I can, that I think is a positivity. I don't go around knocking down people's things. I will never knock what I think is something positive. The education on the move is something very positive that I am actually for. I get kicked off the education on the move bus because of two individuals who choose to turn this into a whole political situation that forced the minister to act in the way she did. And I dare you to come back to me with that, because the next time I show up here, it's going to be with proof. Peace.